WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. This is Investor Schooling Live with your host, Larry Steinhouse, CEO of Investor Schooling.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to Investor Schooling Live. Hey, Investor Schooling Live is transmitting from the Investor Schooling Studios here in the Investor Schooling headquarters. I am Larry Steinhouse, and I am the CEO of Investor Schooling. I want to thank you for listening, and let's get ready to learn real estate investing, stock options trading, and so many more things about money that I bet you didn't even know. Hey, you can call anytime during the show with your questions. Write this phone number down, 855-939-1137. I'm going to repeat that number because I know everybody wants to call today. 855-939-1137. One more time. 855-939-1137. That's right. We're a live program, and you can call anytime during the show. I'll take your calls. Don't worry about the topics. I'll take your call about anything that has to do with money, finances, or even politics. Hey, we're also live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, and you can leave comments there. And if you're watching online, please say hi. And by the way, it's the only way I know you're watching. So if you say hi, I know you're watching, and I promise I'll even say hi back. At Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing, stock options trading, how to save money and taxes, and how to be financially free. And we even give you the motivation to make money work for you instead of you working for money. I hate working for money. I like having money work for me. Investor Schooling is located in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, right off the Newtown Bypass, serving the New Jersey and greater Philadelphia areas in a real brick-and-mortar building. Our students are also located in several states with our exclusive web access to our classes and seminars. Get ready to learn something new. Get ready to learn about business, about entrepreneurship, real estate investing, stock options trading, and you can learn it from your friendly neighborhood financial expert. And hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. All right, I want to welcome everybody to the show, and I want to give out the phone number again so everybody knows. It's 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. All right, Glenn, did I give the phone number out enough times?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, because, I keep, we every week we have people saying, hey, I couldn't catch the phone number. And then I say 855-939-1137, and still nobody calls. So I'm expecting a whole lot of calls because I said that number now 8 times. And we did this experiment a couple of weeks ago. We said that Bob Grant, if you guys ever remember Bob Grant, he used to give the phone number 7 times, and then he'd get lots of callers. So I was experimenting with that, and it actually worked. I'm pretty amazed to find out that it worked. So I bought 2 houses yesterday, Glenn. Is that exciting?
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I bought 2 houses, and you know how much money I took out of my pocket to buy those 2 houses?
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say none.
That's right.
Hey, first guess.
I bought 2 houses yesterday with no money out of my pocket, which is what we teach at Investor Schooling. And it's funny because most people, they listen to the show or hear people that do this, or even hear me say it, right? They're like, oh, that's impossible. You can't do that. That's because they're so used to listening to people who are real estate agents who don't know how to do it. And they're like, oh, well, you can't do that. That's special. That's something different. No, you can learn how to do this anytime. I went there, no money out of my pocket, bought these houses, and now I own 2 houses that are going to cash flow maybe about $200 each. So, hey, Glenn, would you like a $400 a month raise?
Sounds good.
Yeah, so all you have to do is buy 2 houses that get $200 a month cash flow each, and you get a $400 a month raise. But here's the other part that's really cool about that, too, is after a while, those houses build up equity, and the loans get paid off, and then all of a sudden you own this asset. In this case, it'll probably be worth, maybe in 10 years, probably would be worth about $250,000, and that would be great, and then I paid it off, plus I get $200 a month, and at that point, I'll probably be getting $600 or $700 a month from each property. So
Sweet.
Real estate just actually works. It works, and I'm telling you, I often told this story about how last year I wanted to buy a Tesla, and it's funny, I wanted to buy a Tesla X, and the Tesla X payment was $1,500 a month. And I said, all right, if I'm going to buy a Tesla X, I'm going to buy 2 houses. Well, I was going to buy properties. I didn't know how many it was going to be, but I was going to buy properties to be able to afford that Tesla X at $1,500 a month. Well, I actually turned out not buying the Tesla X. Something weird about Tesla. I just looked at them and they just for some reason freaked me out, and I decided not to buy them. They look like some really weird stuff from science fiction movies, and they scared me. I don't know. It must be something mental. but I didn't buy them.
Science.
I didn't buy it.
What?
I ended up buying a Ford Expedition that is a 6-cylinder gas engine, and it's so nice. I love putting gasoline in my car and making my carbon footprint bigger and bigger and bigger. Wait, was I supposed to say that? Wait,
I don't think so. I don't think so.
The big Green Deal police are going to come get me now because I put gas in my car instead of charging my car with electricity that's produced from oil that burns into the air. But nobody ever talks about that either. So anyway, I was going to buy this Tesla X, and I was real close to buying it, and then I actually bought 2 houses to pay for it, and I was making about $1,800 on those 2 houses with how much money out of my pocket, Glenn?
Zero.
Right? And that's what I did. So I bought those houses, and I ended up keeping $1,000 a month because I bought this new Explorer that only cost me $775 a month, which I thought was really expensive. Wow. But that's the way it is now. Cars are super duper expensive. It's crazy. And you know why cars are so expensive, Glenn?
Inflation, supply.
Right.
Inflation.
Biflation.
Biflation.
Right. They used to call it Reaganomics. Now they call it biflation.
Okay.
You get it?
No.
No. Inflation caused by Biden.
Oh, Biden.
Biflation. Bidenflation, biflation.
Yeah, it's a bit of a reach, but yeah. Okay,
yeah,
I got it.
I'm trying. What can I tell you? I'm trying. I'm trying. It's not
Work
that
on it. Work on it.
So, by the way, so if you guys don't know, Glenn is the producer at WPHT, and Glenn and I. So for half an hour before the show, Glenn and I are just always having great conversations, and I just at this point I just like include him in the show because we have such a great time. And of course, we have Mike over here in my studio in Investor Schooling headquarters, and Mike over here is a really cool cat. He sits back there and he talks about nothing. He just sits there very quiet. See? Like I said, he just sits there very quiet. But if you guys ever want to meet Mike, you can come to Investor Schooling any Thursday night. You can go to investorschooling.com. You'll meet me. You'll meet Mike. You'll meet Dr. Deb, who's been on the show a couple of times. And you'll have a really good time. What?
You won't meet me.
You won't meet Glenn.
Not yet.
Not Glenn,
yet.
No. Glenn needs to pop in. Definitely needs to pop in. By the way, all right, so now I'm going to do it. Now that the show started, I'm going to give the phone number out 7 times. You ready? All right.
Well, what are we going to be talking about before?
I got something even cooler. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to give out a copy of my book if somebody can figure out what this means. All right. So, and I'm going to preamble it first. Okay. So let's talk about this. So a lot of people are afraid to invest in real estate, and they're afraid to invest in real estate because, they hear all these stories. Oh, my goodness, the tenant's not going to pay. Oh, my goodness, this is going to happen. Oh, my goodness, the toilet's going to not work, and they're going to call me at 2 o'clock in the morning, and these tenants are blah, 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 blah. And then the tenants come out, and they trash the place, whatever. So I've discovered that this business... First of all, those things almost never happen. I've been doing this for 40 years. I had one tenant trash the place, and I was so glad he trashed the place because it needed to be renovated anyway. And because he trashed the place, my insurance company paid for the renovation, which was great. So that's the only time I ever had a tenant actually trash the place. I mean, have I had tenants leave and, they're slobs? That's one thing. It is what it is. But here's the thing. So this business is so easy to run. And I'm going to tell you how this business runs. It runs with IMPC. The letter I, the letter M, the letter P, the letter C. So I'm going to give this out to you guys, and I'm going to say that the first person who could call in and explain what they think IMPC means, how you run your real estate business. You run your real estate business on IMPC. If you call me up, the first person to call me up, I'm going to send you an autographed copy of my book, Money Hacks. And Money Hacks is actually subtitled because everything you think you know about money is wrong. And I'll tell you something about that book. That book teaches, it'll explain to you a 50-foot overview of everything we teach in investor schooling. It's really a good book, actually. I get a lot of good compliments from it. If you go to Amazon.com, you could see that there are several reviews about how many people like it, all 5-star reviews. So I'm going to give somebody a copy of my book, Money Hacks, if they could tell me what IMPC stands for. And here's the number. By the way, you can call for anything you want. If you want to, just call and say hi. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. I think I got one more, right, Glenn? That I got to do? Is that
one more.
One more, right? 855-939-1137. So the reason I had Glenn count them for me was because we had discovered something a couple of weeks ago if you ever listen to the old Bob Grant show, and I think I mentioned this before, you mentioned the old Bob Grant show, Bob Grant used to say that if he mentioned the phone number 7 times, people would actually call the phone number. So I started doing that, and it actually worked at the end of the show a couple of weeks ago. So 855-939-1137. If you could figure out what IMPC stands for, how I run my real estate business, IMPC, I will give you a free copy of my book, because that's how the business is run. The business is run with IMPC, and once you understand that, and once you really understand that, it's great business to be in. You'll make $200-300 a property, even a door if you want to call it that. If you have a property with 4 doors, you might make $200 or $300 a door on your property. So maybe you have a quadruplex that has four units, and you're making $200 or $300 a month. Hey, that's not bad, right? What do you think? Can you use an extra $1,200, $1,600 a month? I think everybody could do that. All right. I want to talk about the stock market, because I hate the stock market now. I don't even want to talk about the stock market anymore. No. So on Friday, what happens? The stock market drops 630 some odd points, right? And we have a mess. But you know what? Real quick, actually, we have our first call. I wonder if he knows what IMPC stands for. Chris, what do you think? Do you know what it stands for?
I do not.
All right. So how can I help you, man?
I was calling. What do you think about covered call ETFs?
Covered calls
for,
on ETFs?
Basically, yeah, there's covered call ETFs out there to generate like dividend income.
Okay, right. So you're not talking about an ETF and then selling covered calls in the ETF. You're talking about a company that does it for you by investing in that company, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I think there's like 3 or 4 covered calls, or ETFs that specialize in covered calls.
So it's not really my thing, but I right now covered calls are a really great way to preserve some money. Although I got to tell you, I've been selling covered calls on a bunch of stocks, and I can't get enough out of my covered calls to cover the drops that we've been having. It's insane, but at least I get to keep the stock, and then if I keep the stock, I get to play again. It's just been tough.
Right.
This market's been really, really tough, like especially on Friday. Do you know why the market went down Friday, Chris?
It tanked like it was like a record low, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't a record low. But do you know why it went? Well, it was 52-week low, I think. But do you know why it went down so much?
I think there's probably a bunch of factors other than the Democrats are running the country. But I would say because of the OPEC situation and this, that, and everything.
You ready? I'm going to tell you why Wall Street reacted the way they reacted. They reacted the way they reacted because, you ready for this? Unemployment stayed at 3.5%. They wanted it to go up. In other words, they wanted more people to be out of work than the last unemployment report. Does that make any sense to you?
Crazy.
This is how Wall Street
Makes
works.
any sense with
right. This is how Wall Street works. So basically what happened was they were saying, okay, look, if people are getting jobs, and they added 200 and some odd thousand jobs, whatever it was, if people are getting jobs, that means that Jerome Powell isn't going to make a lower, it's possible he's not going to make a lower interest rate rise. You know what I mean? Like he did 75 basis points 3 months in a row now, and Wall Street wants to see him slow down. But they think that because people are working, inflation is going to continue to go up, and inflation continues to go up, then Powell's going to continue to raise the interest rates. That's why on Friday the stock market dropped 630-something points, whatever it was. The stock market is nuts. The money managers are all nuts, and that's basically what we're dealing with right now.
I mean, all it is just another form of gambling to me. But how else is the small guy going to make any money?
Well, so I'll tell you that if you come to our class, we're going to teach you that it's not really gambling, or if you want to call it gambling, you can, but you have gambling with an edge, if you want to call it that, because we teach you how to see patterns and how to understand what's happening in the market, and things like I just described will be helpful. But are you close to us in Langhorne?
Kind of, sort of. I did have a question about your school.
Sure.
I'm not really interested in the real estate. I'm more interested into the stock options.
Sure.
I did buy your book, by the way. Started reading it, and then the wife absconded it from me. She's been reading it now, so I only got a few pages into it.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But yeah, I'll check out the school. I'm mostly interested in just the stock options, to be honest with you.
Well, come on by, man. We'll talk to you. We'll have some fun, and we'll talk to you. I tell you something else. The class is fun. If nothing else, I promise you, you will be entertained. I actually call what I do entertainment education.
Right.
I'll have you
Okay,
laughing.
great.
I'll have you
I'll
crying,
check it.
and I'll have you making some money. Does that all work for you?
Sounds good. I'll check it out.
All right, sounds good, Chris. We're looking forward to seeing you in class. If you want to sign up for class, go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com, and you can sign up for class. All right, anybody else want to take a guess at this? IMPC. I run my complete real estate business with IMPC. You can call me at 855-939-1137. If you get it right, I will give you a book. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. By the way, you can call me about anything you want, anything that has to do with money. 855-939-1137. I'm looking to see if somebody knows what IMPC stands for, how I run my real estate business, IMPC. By the way, a couple of people online saying hi real quick. I want to say hello to those guys. It looks like we've got Justin saying hi, and I can't see if somebody else said hi. And Karen said hi, and Justin said hi. So thanks, guys. I totally appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. By the way, I'm even going to give you the online. If you put the right answer in line, I'm going to give you the book too. But I'm going to tell you that you got it right. But I'm not going to tell you what the answer is because I want to let people call. So if you're online and you get it right, I'm going to give you the book. And if you're on the air, if you call me right now in your car or wherever you call me from, IMPC. If you get it right, I'm going to also give you the book. So again, one more time, 855-939-1137. Am I abusing the power of the phone number right now, Glenn? Oh, he might be taking a phone call. How cool is that? All right, so we'll wait for him real quick. We'll find out what's going on with that. All right, so you guys know something that's interesting, and it was really interesting. I saw this. Remember I said earlier that I bought another couple of houses? Real quick, really, really funny. So Mike McGowan online, he said, Mike Effin McGowan, his middle name is Effin. Mike Effin McGowan says that he thinks that IMPC stands for Invest Minimal Personal Capital. That's great. That's actually true, but that's not what it stands for. So I run my real estate. That's actually probably the answer to how I invest. But I'm going to tell you that how I run my real estate business is with the initials IMPC. So I run my business with IMPC. So I'm not talking about how I buy my houses, although that's a really good way to put it, Mike. But I'm telling you how I run my business is IMPC. So let's see if you can find it. All right, so real quick. So I was telling you how I bought 2 houses yesterday. And basically I bought these houses by taking over other people's mortgages. Now, I didn't actually take over their mortgage. I actually took over their mortgage payment. We've talked about this for years, for probably the last 4 or 5 years. We've been talking about this over and over again, how you take over people's mortgage payments, not their mortgage. And that's the key. And it's funny because I actually found a Wall Street Journal article that talks about taking over somebody else's loan. Now, I will tell you that they're talking about how you go to the bank and you say, hey, I want to qualify and I want to take over your loan. There's very few loans you could take over the loan. But I take over the loan payments. So I found it interesting that the Wall Street Journal was actually talking about this, but they weren't quite talking about how we do it. So how we do it and how we teach to do it is you actually take over the mortgage payment and you get possession of the house, which is fantastic. Now, the loan does remain in the original seller's name, but in most cases, they don't care. They just want to get rid of this house. I mean, I can tell you that the person I bought the houses from yesterday, he just couldn't stand being a landlord anymore. He hated the pressure of it. It's like some people get nervous about being a landlord. Some people, like when something breaks, they like, oh, no, now I have another expense because they're not thinking the long term. They're thinking the short term, which is fine. It's just not everybody's cut out to be a landlord. But once you come here and come to class and learn, we're going to teach you the way to learn it and not have to worry about it too much. And that's basically what we did. But he was disgruntled. He didn't want to be a landlord anymore. He'd been a landlord for many years. He was talking to 2 properties, bought them, and he never really made any money because he never really, he didn't improve the property, whatever the situation was. So I took over his mortgage payments, and it was that simple. Take over his mortgage payments, and now I take over the mortgage payments. I pay the mortgage company. He no longer owns a property. He doesn't care anymore. And I'm making about $200 a month on each property. So that's basically how we do it. Like I said, the Wall Street Journal is doing this. It's pretty wild. All right, we got Tony in Collegeville. What's going on, man? Do you know what IMPC stands for?
I am the person in charge.
Well, there's no T in there, but I love that. It's not right, but that's really funny. I love that. No, I am the person in charge, Tony, not you, me. No, that's
He's following Joe Biden's word counts.
Wait. Hold on. You mean like this? You guys know how you know how to count? You know how to count, Tony?
No, it means that you're the one that writes the contract. You're the one that does the conditions. You're the one that's in charge of it. That's why you don't have to fear it.
Well, yeah, but what did you say? You said what'd you say? I am the person in charge?
The person in charge.
Okay, so how many words is that?
I am the person in charge.
Okay, so it's not. All right, I see what you're. It's IMP as in Peter. So it's IMP as in Peter C. IMPC. That's how I run my business. I run my business IMP as in Peter C. Not T. You want to take another guess?
He sounds like he's in a pulsating
I know.
sci-fi tube.
I know. I'm a little concerned about what he's doing over there.
He's in a
Give
Tesla.
me a 50% off for the book.
What's that?
Give me 50% off certificate, and I'll get the book.
Go buy it on Kindle. It's 50% off if you buy it on Kindle.
No, I'm going to go Barnes and Noble.
So go to Barnes & Noble and tell them you're talking to the author, and they should give you a discount.
I think
Well, you take care.
Thanks,
Joe
Tony.
is
I appreciate the try.
I think he's in a sensory deprivation tank.
Yeah, I'm a little. I'm glad you went in that direction because the direction I was going, it was getting a little raunchy.
Oh, of course, it always is.
All right, so
You're a raunchy dude.
I know, I guess so, right? All right, so everybody out there, I run my business with the initials IMPC. All right, so anybody out there want to take a guess? And you can call me. I'll give you a free copy of my book, 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. Hey, ask Gary Arnell. I know he's on deck, right? Ask Gary Arnell when he comes in if he knows what IMPC stands for. But let's do this. Hey, Glenn, why don't you take us out to a commercial while people think about it, and they can call me at 855-939-1137 and see if they have any questions about anything, or if they want to figure out if they think they know what the answer is to IMPC, how I run my business. All right, let's take a break. Welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. I am Larry Steinhouse. Hey, Glenn, what music is that? That's awesome.
That is just one of our generic
Just
library.
generic? Oh, I thought it was like somebody, important that was, like, I don't know, maybe Roxy Music or something.
It does sound a little bit like Devo.
Yeah, it does sound. You're right. It does sound like Devo. All right, so we have a contest going on right now. If you could tell me how I run my business, and I run my business with the initials IMPC, You call in, you get a free copy of my book. The phone number is 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. You can call me with anything you want to call me about, anything that has to do with money, real estate, the stock market, or anything else that you are investing in. If you want to ask me questions, that's fine. Phone number is 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. All right. So Mike effin McGowan is taking another shot at it. And here's his other shot. He says, I make people cash. Well, obviously he's not correct because I wouldn't have read it. But I'm going to give you guys a hint. He got the first two words correct. So I run my business with IMPC, and the first two letters stand for I make. So he's there. He's got to get two more. He's got to get the other two letters. Let's see if he does it. I make PC. That's how I run my business. IMPC. That's how I run my business. So we were talking about the fact that people, right? People, people are afraid to invest in real estate because they're afraid that they may have to fix something. They may have to, they may have to, unstuff a toilet. They may have to renovate the property, whatever it may be. They may have somebody who trashes the place, which, by the way, like I said before, I've been doing this for, actually now it's 41 years. I've been doing this for 41 years. And for 41 years, I've only had one person ever trash an apartment. And like I said before, it was great because the property needed to be renovated anyway. And because they trashed it, I let the insurance company cover it. So it was actually great. So, so Mike's going, he's got another guess. I make property cash. What? Does that even make any sense? That sentence doesn't even make any sense. Mike effin McGowan is trying really, really hard at this, but he's just not going to get it. Mike, why don't you call in? Why don't you call in with your next guess? Come on. So my wife Linda's on. She goes, do I get a guess? Go ahead, Linda. You can have a guess, but you know what? Send it to me via text message because I don't want you to tell everybody what it might be because I think you actually know the answer. I think you actually know the answer, so I want to be careful that you don't give it away to somebody. All right. So what we were talking about. So, by the way, if you want to go to investorschooling.com, you can sign up for a class this Thursday, and it's going to be an awesome class. I promise you. We teach such great stuff. We were teaching the other day. We actually had a student who was doing a subject to deal. We talked about that before. How to take over properties by taking over their mortgage payment, and the title company screwed up the deal, and we were able to rescue him by talking, by having a conversation with him, and we rescued him, and it was great. So Linda actually texted me, and she's not correct, although what she said is correct. I'm going to tell you what she said. She says, I make positive cash flow, which is absolutely true, but is not what I'm talking about. I run my business, IMPC. So what I do, I run my business, IMPC, and I'm specifically talking about what the biggest fears of owning real estate are. The biggest fears of owning real estate are what? They're again, the toilet might overflow, the heat might not work, the roof might break, right? So I run all of these problems with the initials IMPC. All right, Leo, what do you got, man?
Investing money, positive cash flow.
That's funny. If you just heard, my wife said something like that. But I'm going to tell you that the first two words, actually, Mike effin McGowan got the first two words right, and the first two words are I make. So now my wife said positive cash flow, which is not correct. That's not how I run my business. That's how my business is. I always make positive cash flow on almost every property I've ever bought. I actually bought one once that I made $14 a month negative cash flow, but that was only for about a year until I raised the rent.
Right.
But that's
okay,
not the
I can
answer.
understand that.
What's that?
Okay. I'll have to sign up for your course to, at least show up your course to find out.
Well, actually, I'm going to tell you before the day's over, but I'm really hoping somebody gets it because it's fascinating. So I'm going to make you think a minute. So remember, I'm specifically talking about the fact that the biggest complaint that people have, or the biggest fear that people have to invest in real estate. Do you invest in real estate, Leah?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Okay, so what was your biggest fear of investing in real estate?
I own two properties. Was not being able to make the monthly nut.
Okay, and what else?
Let's see. What else was it? Of course, legal legal.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Okay, so yeah, whatever.
Being sued.
Right.
Yeah,
So all
being
these problems
sued.
you have, like not being able, like your tenants not paying, might be one of them, right? Your toilets overflowing might be one. The heat not working might be one. Did you ever have these problems?
Oh, sure.
Okay,
But-
sure.
but
So
found a way to take care of them.
how did you handle these problems?
I make. I tell you, I personally went down. I personally found somebody to take care of it. My property was in Maryland. I had 2 properties in Maryland, one in Brigantine, New Jersey, and then my regular home.
Okay.
So I just found people to handle them. That's it. If
All right.
if I couldn't personally do it.
You're getting closer, but I'm going to have to boot you because I got somebody else. I think we got. Well,
Okay.
I'm gonna. But are you going to show up for class?
Yes, you gave me a fair chance. I was more. That's you gave me a fair chance.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you in class. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. Sign up for class. I'm looking forward to seeing you. All right. Let's try Karen. What do you think, Karen? You know what it is?
Hi. Yes. Hi, Larry. How are you? So
I am
I do
great.
have a question.
Okay, sure.
Or I'd like advice.
All right.
So, in Atlantic City, now I'm in Atlantic City, New Jersey right now,
You live
and
there.
I'm looking to purchase my first. This would be anything to do with real estate. I know nothing about it, but I am looking to purchase an investment property on the boardwalk and do short-term rentals
Okay.
out of it. How do you feel about that?
So-
and how do you feel about the area?
All right. So the very first thing that you said that worried me was you've never done this before. Okay. So
No.
who is advising you on how to do this?
I'm just looking, on the computer. I got a course that, really this is brand new to me. And I wanted to do something, fairly close to home. I'm from Staten Island. I have a lot of history with my family in Atlantic City since I'm a young kid. So, so that's where we're at right now.
So you're probably about to
Basically.
spend $500,000 to $1 million on a property. on the
No,
boardwalk.
definitely not.
On the
Definitely
boardwalk?
not. I'm looking for something under 200,000.
On the boardwalk. Oh, so you're looking for like maybe a condo.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
All right. And then you want to rent it out on a weekly basis? Is that what it sounds like?
Most likely on a weekly basis.
Okay.
Yes, I really don't want to rent it out, by the night or on a weekly basis.
All right. So
And I know there's seasons,
Yeah, sure.
the season, the
Yeah.
summer,
Yeah.
winter would be slow. I get that. So I was just curious, like what you felt, about the area.
and then you're competing with
And stuff
hotels
like
that are renting rooms for $80.
I'm actually in a hotel right now, and if I tell you what a dump, $500 for the night. And
Where are you?
I can't believe it. It's at the Tropicana.
Oh, really? Wow. You know what? Go
And
to
it's a dump.
really go see my friends at the
I
Oceans.
can't believe it. I was like, $500 for this?
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
Wow, that's sad.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Actually, Tropicana used to be. Well, actually, my favorite hotel used to be the Showboat, but then they turned that into apartments. Then you've got then Tropicana
Right, I
used to
saw
be my
that
favorite.
online. I saw that online.
Yeah. And then now
Yeah.
Oceans is now my favorite. Oceans has some beautiful views. But anyway, getting back to your thing. So look, if you're buying a condo, you're going to be a little bit safer than if you were buying a house or another property. So it's a little bit stronger. I'm just not
Right.
so sure if Atlantic City is the greatest place to do seasonal rentals. Look, you've got
Right.
competition from all the hotels. So it may not be the greatest place, but the concept is not a bad idea. My only suggestion is, look, you're taking some course. It's an online course. What are you watching videos?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yes.
so
I just
my suggestion is come see us.
joined this course like 2 days ago.
Yeah, come see us because we're gonna hold your hand through the whole thing. It's very different. You would talk to me if you, as one of my students, you would talk to me. You would get direct information from me. I would even look over the property. I would evaluate it with you. I would help you pick out a property manager down there to do it.
How would I sign up
So
for
go-
your school? Because
right.
I can't necessarily get there all the time, to
Right.
Pennsylvania.
So
I
what-
wouldn't mind coming sometimes, but, it's not always convenient for me to get there.
What we recommend is definitely show up for the first time in person, just to get to meet us, get to see what's going on. But we have online access, so our students have online access. We have students in Florida, we have students in California, we have students in Boston, New York. I mean, all over the place. We have students in Colorado. So there's students all over the place. So what I want you to do is go to investorschooling.com, investorschooling.com, fill out the form, come this Thursday night at 7:00, be a little early. And then show up and then talk to me more about it. But at the same time, if you decide to become a student, we'll talk about that when you come. If you decide to be a student, like I said, I mean, like even if you're spending $200,000 or $300,000 on a condo, before you do that, spend some time with a mentor, not just a video that says, "Oh yeah." And by the way, those people, how old is the guy in the video?
He's probably about 50.
Oh, okay. Well, at least it's most of these people that are teaching this stuff now. They're 30 years old, right? And I've been investing in real estate. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I've been
and they really probably don't even know.
Yeah, right. So there you go. I've been investing in real estate longer than these people have been alive. Almost everyone teaching real estate.
I actually spoke to Debbie.
Oh, good.
I spoke to Debbie.
Good.
The woman, yeah, and we keep missing each other.
Okay.
But I am gonna, and I left her a message. She left me a message, but I'm definitely gonna do that. Exactly what you said. After we get off the phone.
Do it.
And then
I'm
going to go meet the realtor. I'm going to look anyway, but I'm not going to jump in immediately. But I am going to go look because that's why I came here.
Yeah, go look at the property.
Right.
Come see us on Thursday. We'll talk some more. I'm looking forward to seeing you, Karen. That'd be great.
Definitely.
All right. You want to take a shot at IMPC?
Thank you so much. IMPC. Do you know what IMPC is?
What was that?
No, we really don't know. We were trying to figure it out. We don't know.
All right, listen to the rest of the show. I'm going to give the answer at the end if nobody gets it. What's that?
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care, Karen. Hey, she didn't say anything dirty with that, did she? All right, we got Leo. I think maybe Leo's got the answer. What do you think, Leo? Oh, I think Glenn's asleep at the switch. He's probably he's probably feeling another call. Is this Leo or is this Glenn?
No, it is. It's Leo.
Oh, Leo. Okay, what's going on, man?
I make phone calls.
That's it. Ding, 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 ding. You got it. I make phone calls. That's how it works. My entire business is running on I make phone calls. So when my toilets, or one of the tenants calls and says, "Hey, the toilet's backed up," I make the phone call to the plumber. If the electricity doesn't work, I make a phone call to the electrician. If the tenant doesn't pay, I make a phone call to a lawyer. That's it. That's how the whole business is run. It's the easiest business on the planet. How'd you figure that out?
Well, I think the successive bad guesses sort of laid the groundwork for it.
So that is the answer. So, Leo, do you have anything else? Because I'm going to have Glenn keep you on the line, get your information, and we will mail you a book. I will autograph copy it, and we will mail you a book, man. I'm excited that you got it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it. Actually, I'm looking forward to reading it. I heard you talk before on this and your other show, your morning show. So
thanks, man.
It'll be good, man.
So you watch my morning show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or whatever it is?
Well, I used to listen to the radio. I'm not on Facebook.
We fired the radio station, but the show is still on. It's
just
not
I know.
on the radio. Yeah, so if you want to watch it, you can catch it on YouTube. You can catch it on Facebook. You can catch it on LinkedIn or even Twitter if you want to. So if you want to, so everybody else who, in case you didn't know, I do a show every single day about politics and the stock market, and the show is great. It's hysterical, and you can watch it on Facebook. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, you can watch it on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or YouTube. Just go to Money Chat Now. Look up Money Chat Now on Facebook if you want to. It's the easiest place. You can actually become a member of the page, and you'll actually get notifications when it comes up, so you can watch it again. You can watch it on and also on Spotify. By the way, if you want to listen to it, you can listen to it on Spotify. So, Leo, congratulations for getting it right. I'm impressed, man. You figured it out.
Oh, there we go.
And stay on the line so Glenn can take your information. And all right, we'll get back to something else in just a minute. That's so awesome. All right, cool. So that's the answer. The answer is I make phone calls. I simply make phone calls. I pick up my phone, I call somebody, and I'm actually surprised that my wife didn't know that. Because you know who one of the phone calls I make is? I make it to her. the truth. So I was like, I got a new property. Like I said, these 2 new properties yesterday. So I called her up and I said, hey, we need to get the electric put in her name. Could you take care of that? So I make phone calls to her. But honestly, that's probably the most difficult thing is talking to the utility companies, because they are such a pain in the neck. They really are. The utility companies sometimes will have you on hold for half an hour when you buy a new property. They'll have you on hold for half an hour, maybe longer. And it's funny because that's the worst calls I make. But now she does it because I can't stand doing it. She would hear me yelling at the utility company, "Would you pick up the damn phone already?" And she's like, "I'll do it." So she does it for me, and I love her for it. She's awesome. All right, we got John in Philly. What's going on, John?
Hi, how you doing?
All right, man.
So I heard you talking about your last real estate acquisition was buying a property, tenant occupied, and just picking up the mortgage from the seller.
Correct.
Where do you find deals like that?
so
they don't. Do they come up on the? They don't come up on the MLS, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to be a real estate investor, stop looking at the MLS. You won't find any good real estate deals on the MLS ever. Okay, ever. All right, and I shouldn't say ever because nothing is ever absolute. And I will tell you that about 6 years ago, I actually bought a dozen properties off the MLS in 1 year, but that was when no properties were moving at all, and I was just buying them.
Right.
I was just able to buy them. But to take over people's mortgages, it's not. You're gonna have to find somebody who's in trouble. So here's one of the biggest misconceptions about the real estate business. A lot of people think we're looking for distressed properties, right? So you drive by a property and the grass is 12 inches high, and maybe one of the windows is broken, and the gutters are falling down, and maybe the roof looks like it's in bad shape, right? And you go, oh, that's a property that needs to be bought. That's a house that needs to be bought. Well, then you call the seller, and he goes, yeah, I'm not selling it. He either lives there and doesn't care, which is weird because I have to come across those, or he's like, yeah, that's my property. I'm going to be renovating it one day, and I'm just holding on to it. I don't really care. That's not the kind of people I'm looking for. I'm looking for distressed sellers. So distressed sellers may have a property that's beautiful, may have a property that's been completely renovated. I actually talk about this. I bought a condo about 5 years ago. I mean, it was so renovated. It was absolutely gorgeous. The guy, gorgeous tile, gorgeous bathrooms, gorgeous kitchen, and he just couldn't afford to pay for it anymore. He had a problem. He couldn't afford to pay for it anymore. And the problem was he was so upside down on the property, he owed at least $30,000 more than the property was worth. So if he tried to sell it on a normal basis, what would happen? He would have to come up with not only the $30,000, but also any real estate fees and transfer taxes. That'd be like $45,000. He couldn't do it. So I said, listen, what if I take over your mortgage payments, take over the property? You don't have to worry about it anymore. I don't care how much I paid for it, because I actually now ended up paying for it $30,000 more than it was worth. But I didn't really care because all I did was take over his mortgage payment. And if his mortgage payment, let's say, was $1,000, and I collect $1,200, I make $200 for free. So that's the concept. So you're trying to find somebody who's in that situation. So I'm going to give you a hint. You ready, John? I'm going to give you a secret on how to find these people. You ready?
Yeah, I'm listening. Nobody else is.
Nobody else is allowed to listen to this. So everybody turn off your radios right now, because I don't want you to hear this, because this is a secret I'm going to give to John only. So nobody else listen. So here's the deal. Here's how you do it. Everybody got their radio turned off? All right. This is how you do it. So in the last 3 or 4 years, what happened to house prices? They took off, right? Now, what do you think is going to happen to house prices in the next 6 months to a year?
They're going to crash.
They're going to drop, right? So now, you ever hear of something called an FHA mortgage?
Yeah, of course.
So an FHA mortgage says that you could put down as little as 3.5% of the purchase price of the home and have the seller pay your closing costs. So, for example, because you did all that and the seller paid your closing costs, you might buy a house for $100,000, and when you bought it for $100,000, you might owe $103,000 or $104,000 on that house, right? The second you bought it, right? Have you heard of that?
Right.
So now, what happens
it's called
to this?
being upside down, yeah.
Right. So now what happens to this person? They bought a house a year ago, 2 years ago, right? The market was taken off. They bought this house, and again, I'm using these numbers. Obviously, these numbers could be $400,000 and $500,000 numbers too, but I'm using a $100,000 number. They bought the house 2 years ago for $100,000, and they owed $103,000 at the time. Maybe in 2 years they paid off $2,000 or $3,000 worth of the principal, and it's still $100,000 that they owe on this $100,000 property. They have no money. They
Right.
can't sell the property. And let's say they're getting divorced. Let's say they have to move. Let's say they got a job offer. Let's say they don't like the house anymore for whatever reason. If they sell this property and even get, and if it happens to be worth $100,000, it might not even be worth $100,000. Maybe it's worth $89,000, right? But let's say it's worth $100,000. Even if they sold it for the $100,000 that the mortgage was, they would still have to come up with about $12,000 just to sell that property between real estate fees and transfer taxes, right? Now, you come along and you say, listen, I'll take over your mortgage, I'll take over your house, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. And they go, and it's funny because they all say the same thing. Can you do that? And I say, absolutely. There's a bunch of little things that you have to do to make sure you do it right, and we teach that at Investor Schooling, but those are the people. So if you remember, I said go back to 3 years ago, right? I want you to look at all these new houses that were built, all these new condos that were built, all these new townhouses that were built. Where you're in Philly?
Yeah.
Okay, so go walk up and down the streets of Philly. That new condo development that was built 2 years ago that everybody just bought, and they all bought it with FHA mortgages. Mail every single one of those people a letter saying, "Hey, I can help you get out of your house if you want to. I know you're upside down." And even if they're not upside down, I'll throw the paper in the garbage. But if they are upside down, they're going to call you and they're going to say, "Can you really help me?" And sure enough, that's what's going to happen. I do that. I teach that. I have letters that we have in Investor Schooling that we give to people, we give to our students to do it. And it works great. So now everybody else can turn your radio back on because I gave John all the hints.
So you can figure out who has an FHA mortgage?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can buy lists of people who have FHA mortgages, and you're specifically looking for people who have FHA mortgages with no equity in their house. And those are the subject to people. And here's the other thing. I'll tell you something interesting. Let's say you wanted to find a house that you want to move into, right? You wanted to live in that house. You could do the same exact thing. You could find a neighborhood that you want to live in, and you could find those people who have zero equity in their house and have an FHA mortgage and just mail those people. And sure enough, you might get lucky and move into a house that you take over somebody's mortgage. So what kind of credit score do you think you need to take over somebody's mortgage payments? What kind of credit score do you think you need?
Well, with FHA, I know that they're pretty easy going with credit scores.
You ready? Credit score has nothing to do with it. That person already got the mortgage, and they already qualified. All you're doing is taking over their mortgage payment.
Oh, so it stays in their name?
Absolutely.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
They'll let you. Somebody will trust you to pay on their name.
They will if they're in certain circumstances. It's still better. You're trusting you to pay it. And I'm going to tell you right now. And I teach this, and when I teach this, I tell people flat out, you make sure you pay that payment. It's very important that you pay that payment. But you need to come to our school, because if you come to our school, we're going to teach you how to do this, and you're going to love it. It's going to be a fantastic way to buy houses. And in the next 3 years, you're going to be gobbling them
There
up.
should be tons of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, John, you going to come to class?
So where are you? You're at Langhorne?
We're in Langhorne, right off the Newtown bypass.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com, and you can sign up and you can come see us on Thursday. And I look forward to seeing you, man.
Okay, cool.
You got it. Take care. All right, we got
Thanks
Rich.
a lot. Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome, man. We got Rich in Haddonfield. What's going on, Rich?
Hey, Larry. How you doing today?
I am doing fantastic, man.
I'm glad you're back on live at 2 o'clock. Well, I missed you. Your show's hard to find.
Listen, I want you to just yell out, go, Susan, it's your fault we keep missing this guy. Say it.
Susan, it's your fault. We keep missing this guy.
There you go. All right. She's our account rep over at WPHC, but I will tell you, it's not really our fault. It's because, they think that the ball games are more important than I am.
When
Miss
are you on
is a
next
strong
week?
word. Miss is a strong word.
So next week will be 10 o'clock, and we'll be on at 10 o'clock next week, because next week there is a ball game.
Oh, all right. Just a quick option question.
Sure.
Now that the labor report came out yesterday, and it looks like it's strong, and inflation is going to continue, and it looks like the Fed will be raising their rates again, does your option strategy change at all, knowing that the market is not going to like that, and with interest rates continuing to go up for a while, the market's going to have probably a soft belly right now? Or does your option strategy stay the same? Is it more on a stock-by-stock basis?
So it's more of a stock-by-stock basis. But I've also, it's like a lot of people are concerned. So you have to understand that, you could have some really bad trades, especially now. So we also teach covered calls. And covered calls is a really great way to park your money temporarily, make a couple of bucks on it while you're waiting for the market to change. So we like that as well. So if you would, like, say you had $50,000 worth of stock, and maybe you can make on a weekly basis maybe $1,000 a week on that stock by selling the covered calls. And I'm just making up these numbers. And you'll do that. You'll sit on the stock for a while, and then you're sitting on the 50,000. You're not risking the 50,000. I mean, it's possible the stock could go down. That's possible too, but at least you have time. You don't have to wait. You don't have to. You can wait it out if you bought the stock, and every week you could sell covered calls, and maybe even make the money back or make money on it. I did this a couple of times with Nikola, AT&T, were some stocks that I did covered calls on, and I did all right with it. Some of the stocks like Nikola just is like half of what I paid for it, which is really sad. I paid $7 figuring it would go to 10. Now it's at 3.5, and I'm kind of hoping for 5 at this point. But I'm still selling covered calls on it, and I may not make all the money back, but I make a lot of money back. So the strategy, to answer your original question, does the strategy change? No, you're just using different strategies at different times. And right now we got earnings season coming, and I think it's going to be a good time to be investing.
I was going to say, I know you follow Meta closely, and with the tech trades have been just awful lately. But what do you think in the future as far as Meta? Is it worth watching, or is it just right now just a hold?
Well, if you have the stock, is that what you're asking?
No,
Okay.
I don't. And though I think long term Meta's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Right now, everything just seems to be against tech stocks.
Yeah, well, what's happening is the interest rate rising. People are putting their money elsewhere. They're getting scared. You have something. It's insane. You have something like happens on yesterday where the labor report says, the economy's strong. So good, the economy's strong. It's much better than when the economy's not strong, right? I never understand. I mean, I predicted it. I talked about it on my show all week. I said if this labor report comes in strong, the market's going to tank, and that's exactly what happened. I knew it would happen, but to me, it's contrary to I don't know, basic reality, right? If the economy's good, then let the economy good. That means that these people have money. That means they'll buy things. That means they'll do things. But I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. That's just the way Wall Street reacts. Now, Monday will probably be a really, really good day because everybody, took all their money out on Friday, which means they're going to be looking for places to put their money on Monday. So Monday, I'm going to guess, will be a 300 to 500 point pop on Monday. And if you're in anything, that's great. If you bought anything on Friday, you're going to make money on Monday. But it's just bizarre. It doesn't make any sense. And plus, we got the midterms coming, and everybody's nervous and scared. What if the Republicans don't get in? Oh my goodness! It's one of those things. And then even that, after about 3 or 4 weeks, that wears off. So every bad news piece just wears off, and they go back to the stock market and they do their thing. The problem is, I am seeing a downtrend, which is obvious, and I think that the next range we're going to see is 28,000 to 30,000. And we're gonna bottom out at the range of 26,000 to about 28,000 in about a year, probably about a year from now, where the bottom range will be the 26,000 range, and that's where it's going to stick for a while. It'll probably stick between 26 and 28,000. In fact, I'm looking forward to it because when that happens, the market is so much more predictable. I hate it when we're in a down, we're moving down or moving up. I tell you, the 2 times that I haven't made as much money or even lost money in the stock market is when the market was moving up fast or moving down fast. When it moves in a constant range and I can predict that range, I love it. So that's the best way to do stock options, when you can predict the range. Have you been to class here yet?
No, Larry, I'm the guy, unfortunately, because of your political affiliations. I just can't do business with you. But I love your show.
Hey, no, hold on, Rich.
But he can call you every week.
Hold on, Rich. Glenn, listen, anytime Rich calls, I want you to hang up on him.
Okay, will do. He sounds like he talks like he loves you.
I know,
I just can't do business with you. I love you, man.
I know. Hey, listen, Rich. You being a socialist communist. Listen, I'll tell you what you do. Show up on Thursday, and you can get your free class. I mean, come on. Any socialist liberal like you would want to show up for something free. So show up on Thursday for a free class. Get your entitlement.
Like I say, Larry, you're entitled. You're entitled to who you want to support. That's what makes America.
I wish everybody who doesn't like me and my views was as nice as this gentleman.
I know, right? Exactly. Hey, Rich, do you watch my show during the day, during the week?
I do not. I'm embarrassed to tell you, I don't even know what station it's on.
So it's not on a station. It's actually on. It's on the internet. So if you have a Facebook account.
Oh, okay.
So go to Facebook and look up Money Chat Now, or YouTube, or Twitter, or LinkedIn.
Right.
Have your 12-year-old grandson or son teach you how to do it, because I'm sure you don't know how to do it.
What time is it on?
7:30 to 8 every day. It's live, 7:30 to 8 every day, and you'll get a kick out of it because I get into politics too. So it's a lot of fun. I talk about the stock market, I talk about politics, and then you can make comments online. And we have some people who make comments online. It's a lot of fun. So you'd be fun.
Great. Look, you guys have a good week. All right.
Thanks, man, Rich, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon. And if you show up on Thursday, I promise I'll give you an entitlement, some other entitlement too, because I know that's what you're expecting.
You got it.
Right,
See you later.
Go Mastriano. All right. That was fun. This is one of the funnest shows, Glenn. You know that? I'm gonna have to give that Kabbalah 7, that Bob Grant Kabbalah 7, a try every single week, because all we did was have phone calls, and that was fantastic.
Yeah, and I had to turn the last guy away. Someone just called, and I had to turn him away.
Oh, you had to turn somebody away? Oh my goodness, that's horrible.
I told him to call you next week at 10.
All right, well that's cool. Except, okay,
you're on at 10 next week, right?
Yeah, but between you and I'm away next week, so it'll be a repeat.
Oh, right, just a secret.
Shh. Don't tell anybody. But it'll be a good show. Maybe we'll play this one again because that was kind of fun. All right. So Barbara Online is going. If he watches the show, Ken the Democrat. So we have a guy called Ken the Democrat who watches the show every day, and he just keeps putting out stuff. There's his liberal views stuff. So Barbara Online is saying that Ken the Democrat would have a friend if Rich kept saying, "Oh wait, I'm not away this week. I'm away the following week. Oh, never mind. I'm not away." Linda in big bold letters. She goes, "You're not away next week. You're away the following week." I'm like, "You're right." So yes, next week 10 o'clock I will be live on the air, and it'll be 10 o'clock next week. So whoever called and didn't want to talk to me or that Glenn threw away, make sure you're the first caller. Thank you, Linda. I'm here next week. So anybody who heard that, it's wrong. All right. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I want to especially thank Glenn Page for being the great producer over there at WPHT. I want to thank the great Mike Kuiper also for being the online producer, or the guy sitting next to me. He's awesome. And if you guys want to come to Investor Schooling, you get to meet Mike, and you'll get to meet me, and you might even learn something. And I'm sure that Rich might actually show up one day. That would be cool. So if Tony and Leo and Karen, if you guys all show up next week, that would be awesome. Go to investorschooling.com, and we'll see you then.